back. We're back, and we're gonna mix some more Afterwinter. Yeah. We are going to be back here today trying desperately again to finish Afterwinter's debut album, Paramnesia, and hopefully get it out sometime early next year. We are nearing the end of the album as far as our first pass mixes go. Now, we technically have not finished the one that we started last Friday, which is World Without Sin. But the only thing left to stick in that one first pass-wise is vocals, which we don't want to do on stream. Again, this is a concept album. We're going to be giving away too many story plot points if we mix any vocals on stream. So that's something I'm going to need to do in the off time. Of course, this is a holiday week, so didn't get a whole lot of off time to actually mess with stuff. So today we are going to be starting the following song, track 14 overall for the album. This one is called The False Prophet. So let me get over here, and there we go. Yep, make my big dumb face a little dumb face so we can actually see a little bit more logic. Now, this is a part of the big song, the big long one. This is part 3 of 6 of the half an hour-ish long song. So you can see there's a big gap here, and this is the gap in which the first 2 parts go, and then the third part starts over here. So everything is in its own project. However, we are maintaining the open space at the beginning of the song to account for all that stuff. Okay, so let's dive in. No reason to wait. I'm going to go down through and mute all of our fancy stuff that we've got in this one. Lots of vocals. There we go. And also, interestingly, if any of you are watching now, hey, Wyatt Browder, and over on Facebook, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you had a great holiday. Any of you that might be watching this now, Afterwinter is actually having a public event here on, I think it's December 4th. Let me look at my calendar so that I'm not misrepresenting that. Yes, Sunday, December 4th at 4 o'clock here at the studio. We are actually going to be doing a recording session where we need a bunch of people in there. So we need a crowd sound effect, and we want a bunch of people, as many people as we can fit downstairs in the studio, to come in here and record that. And it's for this song. This is actually the song that goes in. So obviously there's a little bit missing from this song. There's a few things that haven't actually been recorded for this song, and that's one of them. Basically a crowd panicking is what we're going to need to record. And that's happening here, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So if anybody that's watching didn't already know about that and can make it out, then you should. Sunday, December 4th at 4 o'clock. Hey, my dad's here over on YouTube. Also just saw that Joe Teeter just followed on Facebook. Good to see you as well, man. Him and his buddy Lane are in an awesome local group called the Northern Burnouts. Y'all should go check them out. They are going to be coming here to the studio to record the following weekend. So the December 11th, I think, is when they're coming. So we've got the Afterwinter thing on Sunday, December 4th, and then they're coming here to record the following Sunday. So that'll be neat. That'll be a good time. Okay, so we're going to start out like we always do. What we're looking at here is drums, bass, and rhythm guitars. And I want to take a quick look through the drum track, and I'm looking for any time that these 2 highlighted tracks right here, the 2 floor toms, any time that Eli may have hit the 2 of them together. And he may not have. Here's a candidate here. Yep, looks like he did right there. So what I've been doing throughout the album, just to give us a wider stereo picture in the drums, is anytime Eli hits those 2 floor toms together, we're going to automate our higher pitched floor tom over into the other speaker. So as the toms sit right now, there we go, they are panned to the drummer's perspective. So this should sound to the listener the way it sounded to Eli when he was really sitting there at the set. Therefore, his toms start in the left speaker and go over to the right. That puts both of the floor toms in, pretty far over into the right speakers. So it's nice to send, if both of them are hit together, send that one floor tom over to the left, even though that's not where it is in real life, just so that we get that nice wide hit. And there's Harry Mills, too. Good to see you, man. To you as well. Hope you all had a good holiday. I was definitely stuffed. I spent most of yesterday feeling like I should go to bed early. I didn't go to bed early, but I was tired enough partway through the day to do that, that's for sure. So let's see if there's any other instances of that happening. Lots of times he's hit that floor tom, but I'm not seeing any other instances of him hitting the two together. Okay, let's take a quick listen to that, the one that we messed with there too, so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. Here we go. So if we turn off that automation right there and listen to this fill, so we'll do just the toms, you'll hear this, right? I assume you guys heard that. Yeah. And if you're listening to this on a decent stereo system, you probably heard that both of those hits were pretty far over into the right side. But if we go ahead and turn on our automation here, that means that suddenly the one floor tom is going to jump over to the left. So nice wide hits. Yeah. Subtle change, but a neat one. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is just kind of a quick pass through the track just with the drums, the bass, and the rhythm guitars. And we're going to be listening to the bass, essentially. I just want to hear if there's anything that jumps out at me that is, too loud or too quiet. And also, we've had an issue occasionally in past songs where just the kind of the flap of the string, because of the sounds that we're using to get the tone we want, that flap can get really annoying sometimes. So I'm also going to try and listen for any spot where we might hear that flap. Other than that, here should be a kind of a first pass listen to the core elements of this song. yeah, I don't think we need to change anything in that. That all worked. So now we just got to contend with a lot of fancy guitar stuff going on that needs to be balanced better. Harry said, so many time changes. Woo! Yeah, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. This one especially, that there's that chorus near the end there that's labeled up here at the top. If you're watching chorus 3-2 when that comes around, yeah, this one right here has a lot of fancy stuff going on in it. Also, my dad says, gee, this somehow doesn't sound like your average metal album to me. Did Mozart write this? No. Oh, that's funny. Definitely not your average metal album, I would agree. And Jet Sweep, good to see you back, man. How you doing? Hope you had a great holiday. And he just says, dope. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so just like last week, let's kind of dive into these the rhythm guitars. There's definitely a lot of harmony stuff going on here. So that needs balanced better. Just about any time I was playing something different to James, my guitar was too loud. So just like last time, we want to go through there and just kind of balance those a little bit better. Also, and I think we did this last time too, pretty much anytime there's vocals, we're also going to lower those rhythm guitars just a little bit to let those vocals come through a little bit louder. So I want to scroll down here and see... Yeah, so the very first vocal in the song is Magenica. It starts here in this bridge 1. There's a couple of little short things going on. So let's turn this down for the duration of bridge 1. We want to grab all of this. And we're only going down half a decibel. It's not very much, just enough to let the vocals shine through a little better. Then we got break 9 there, and then we've got chorus 3-1, which I know Jerry sings. Yeah, that's pretty much immediately. And there's some spots in that we might turn back up. There's a few breaks in that chorus in between vocal phrases that might sound good to have the guitars come back up for. We'll check that out when we get there. Oh, right, and then that kind of just goes directly into bridge number 2, which then again directly goes into chorus 1-3. So we pretty much might as well have extended that all the way out to break 10. We're getting into some pretty high numbered breaks here since this is the big half an hour long song. So in case anybody's watching now that wasn't when we started, this song is a continuation of the one that we were working on last week. So last week we were working on part 2 of the big 6-part song, and this is part 3. So technically this is just basically one big long half an hour song. In fact, you can see if you look at the timer up here, right where we're at in the song currently is 15 minutes in. So this song will not be for the faint-hearted or for anybody with a modern attention span. Okay, so yeah, verse 8 has vocals pretty much all throughout. So let's go all the way up to break 11. Turn that down just a hair. Chorus 3-2. Yeah, except it comes back in, I think, there. Let me take a quick listen here. Yeah, right when it goes back to 4-4. Squirrel! Yeah, that's right, Harry. That's for sure. Anybody with a squirrel level attention span will either not be able to pay attention to this album, or they will really, really be able to pay attention to it because it's constantly changing to go with whatever mood we needed for the story. So the constant changes might actually work in our favor in regards to that. So there's also a kind of a short Dave Mustaine kind of guitar solo here from 577 to 593. And just like with vocals, I kind of like to turn the rhythm guitars down a little bit during that to let the solo shine through a little better. And that we do a little bit more drastic. We go a decibel and a half down for guitar solos because we all know guitar solos are more important than vocals, right? 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 No? Nobody? Okay. Okay. So now we need to go back through the song and do basically another sweep and identify any time that I'm playing something different to what James is playing so that we can balance the two parts. So let's start back here at the beginning. So almost right away, during this sort of Master of Puppets-y kind of riff, we start out playing the same thing, but then I go to a harmony. Right there. Jet Sweep asks if I use any plugins for headphone mixing like SonarWorks or NX. Not right at the moment. However, I do have the Slate Digital VSX, which is something that we're going to be using later on. Once I got a first pass of the entire album done, and honestly, probably a second pass as well, I'm going to go back through using the special VSX headphones and the VSX plugin, which is really cool looking, by the way, and basically test the album in several different kinds of environments to check that out. But other than that, no. Honestly, I use pretty much the same settings for my speakers as I do these headphones. These headphones work a little bit better too, since you don't have to worry about whether or not your room is super well acoustically treated. Of course, headphones have their own set of cons, blah, 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 blah. But generally speaking, these headphones give me a better idea than the speakers in this room, generally. Okay, actually, I think clear up to where we start doing chugs. So 420, and then right there at 432. So for that entire section, I am pretty often playing a harmony note. So let's adjust. Let's try 2 decibels of separation and just see what that does. So James up 2 and me down 2. Not bad. I think I want to try another. I think I want to try a 3rd decibel. So as per usual, I got to trick logic into going down to -6. There we go. So let's try that. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but that seemed like a little bit too much. So let's back it off half. There we go. Nice. Okay, I want to, real quick before we move on from this section, I want to try increasing both guitars by half a decibel, just because I'm a little worried that we lose a little something. So let's pay really close attention to right here where James's guitars jump up from -3 to 0 and see if it feels like there's a volume difference. Okay, yeah, it actually did feel like they got a little bit louder there. So we'll remove that. We'll go back down, and we will continue moving through the song. There was a harmony right there. It looked like it came in halfway through that 4th beat. Yep, and all the way to that other measure. Let's see if those same settings work. Let's try taking James to -0.5 and then me down to -5.5. Okay, yeah. Again, I want to try increasing both by half, I think. Okay, so then all the way up to the bridge, we've got a fifth harmony, and then on the third time, actually a full octave. So we should be able to do the exact same settings we just did, which was it ended up being James at 0 and me at -5. See, this song's a lot more complicated than ones we've done in the past. So almost immediately here in the bridge, the harmony starts again. Yeah. So again, halfway through that beat as well. It's on the and of 1 right there. And then looks like maybe the and of 461's first beat. Yeah, essentially. We could call that 461 and not really be wrong. Okay, let's try 2 decibels and see what that gets us. So James up 2 and me down 2. Yeah, I like that. I want to hear it one more time, I think. I think I wanna hear it a little bit more separated. I'm fairly confident that what we just heard will be okay, but just because I'm curious, I want to hear 1 more decibel of separation. Okay, let's try half. I feel like we're really close to something here. Yeah, I think I like that, which of course puts me at -6, which Logic just does not like at all. Okay, and then we do basically the same thing coming up here. Yeah, so another almost 2 measures. So in order to trick Logic to go into -6, we'll put both of us at 0, put me at -5, and then pull both of us down 1 decibel. There we go. Yeah, and then I think we stay in harmony for pretty much the rest. So again, we have a little bit where we're in unison, we go back to harmony, but this time I think we pretty much stay in harmony clear up till the end of this verse. Yep, so from this upbeat in 467 all the way up to that break 9, and we should be able to just use those same settings. So again, we'll put both of us at 0, drop me down to 5, and then drop both of us 1 more. I don't know why Logic Pro has something against -6, but it does not at all like to put volume envelopes at -6. I have no idea why. And it's always been like that for as long as I've used Logic, since 2013 or something like that. So if it was a bug, you'd think they would have fixed it at some point. Was it just me, or did the harmony seem a little quiet? I hate to keep messing with it, but let's try. So let's take James down 0.5 decibel and me up 0.5 decibel. for the last half of 490 there. I did like that half decibel difference there. I assume that's probably implied by the fact that I moved on. Okay, and this isn't really a harmony, it's an octave here, but I would definitely like the actual riff to be accentuated more than the almost called it a harmony again, the octave. Okay, still hearing a little bit too much of that octave. I want that octave to be support, not obvious. We're getting there. I think we're almost there. We're on the right track. Give it yet another degree of separation here. Okay, that felt like just a hair too much, so let's back it up. Okay, I want to hear that A2 right there. I'm pretty sure that we're both playing the same chord, but not. I don't think we're fingering it the same. Okay, maybe we are actually. Yeah, no, that sounds like we're fingering it the same. Okay. So here we have a callback to the main chorus from the first part of the song, rather interestingly. And yeah, we had a little harmony there at the end of that phrase. Yeah, I want to make sure that I grabbed that in the right spot. And I think it's okay the way it is, but again, the harmony is just a little bit more prominent than it should be. And there's another spot. When I've been practicing this song, I've kind of forgotten what I did right there, but I'm pretty sure that I did the opposite of what James is doing. So one of us is playing like well, that would be an E. So I think one of us is playing E/G sharp, and the other one of us is just playing E. But I don't remember which one is which. Okay, so James had the E/G sharp. So did I play regular E, or am I just remembering totally wrong? Okay, somehow my brain actually did remember that right. So let's hear that balance again. I think I'm okay with that balance. I'm still hearing that G sharp as well as I want to. I was worried that my guitar would be too forward there. Okay, and there's that again, but it ends earlier. Yeah, so we've got that the C sharp coming back in earlier. But we should still be able to do 1-5 and 5-5 just like we did in that last section. Yeah. So again, it stops early. This time so that we can hit that G sharp note leading back to the A. That part tripped me up for a long time when I was practicing this song as well, remembering, because we play this particular section, this chorus as it were, 3 times throughout the half an hour long song, and this is the third and last time. No, actually, you know what? It does actually come back later. a little bit shorter and clean instead of in distortion. But anyway, it's in a different key every time it happens. So it's always tricky to remember. It's the same chord changes, but not the same key. So remembering which one is which, and also which weird chords we're playing each time, a little tricky. Okay, so we got some unison bends that are in harmony. Yeah, so just the last 3/4 of that beat right there. And again, I think it's okay already. It's already doable, so let's just try that 2 decibel separation. And then same thing there. That's also really tricky to play right there, to get those nice low chunky C sharps and then jump way up to well, the 12th fret for that first hit, and then the 16th fret for that unison bend, and keeping that without having that of your hand moving down the neck. Right, okay, so yeah, most of that verse is in unison. I don't think we need to mess with anything in there. But then, of course, just right away in break 11 here, and I think maybe actually for the entire break, I think we're in harmony. Let's listen to this real quick. Okay, so brain fail. Most of that's in unison. I think the first measure and the last measure are in harmony, but other than that, they're in unison. So let's try. I have a feeling two decibels of separation isn't going to be good enough. So let's try this. I think I want to try 0 and 6. You know what? Even then, I was still hearing my harmony a little bit too much. So let's increase James by another. Decrease me. Ah, it doesn't want to go to 7. There we go. One more time. Okay, I think we found that threshold. Let's back it off half a decibel. I know, ironically, I just said one more time and then didn't end up being the case. This should be it. Yeah, and then this last measure, the 12/16 measure, the measure of 12/16 is also in harmony. Let's try 0 and 6 again. Because again, my harmony is pretty prominent as it stands. So trick logic into going to -6 down there. Okay, there we go. There we go. And yeah, all unison in that whole chorus. I think it has quite enough going on without anything without anything else. Incidentally, this gap right here is also where we're going to have the big thing that we're recording in a couple of weekends with all the people. Again, if anybody in here that's watching was not here earlier, After Winter is hosting an event on Sunday, December 4th at 4 o'clock p.m. right here at our studio. There's an event on Facebook you can find. It's here in Greenville, Ohio, where we need the sound of a crowd panicking. So we're going to get as many people as we can here in the studio, set up some mics, and basically have people panic. And it's going to go right here in this gap that we're seeing. And then after that, we are story-wise in the middle of a hostage shooting. So we were definitely thinking musically in terms of like a video game boss fight, which Justin Pollitt brought up last week when we were working on World Without Sin, that it kind of sounded like boss music. And yeah, this is the climax of the whole thing. So right here, we are definitely getting the crazy, panicky boss music going on right now. So let's check out what's going on here in this last section of this song. That where it turns up right there. That riff actually starts over before count one. Yeah, it actually starts on the upbeat of the previous measure. A lot of those real quick stops in that section could be made a little tighter. I mean, look at that. In all four guitar tracks, you can see just junk in the spaces. And as always, I want to tighten those up. I don't want them to sound too computery. That's an issue that I have with a lot of modern metal. When I hear stuff like this, personally anyway, I kind of feel like they clean that stuff up a little too well sometimes. They make it sound unnatural. I want to edit it, but I want it to still sound like it was played by a human, just better than how we actually played it. So I thought there was another gap right here. So I want to be really careful with how I process this, because I don't want it to sound too unnatural. The obvious answer, of course, I don't want to gloss over the fact that, what we should have done really is actually play it better. But this is what we're doing for now. Okay, yeah, so it's just a little bit too perfect. Want to open both of these gaps up a little bit. I don't know, maybe we might just have to leave this being a little bit messy. I'm still just, it still sounds a little bit too much like a computer edit, because it is a computer edit. There, I like that. I think we found the balance there. Okay, so when we start playing these quicker ones, I'm not quite so worried about that, but you can see, especially in James's track, because his guitar sound is naturally a little bit more noisy than mine, you can see that there's a lot of extra stuff going on. So at least in those gaps where there's a little bit more space, let's clean those up a little. I'm not quite so worried about it when we get into those sections where we're going dut 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 dut. That would be really nitpicky to go in and cut all that. And again, the odds of us making it sound like a real human could have done it, kind of low. Just want to make it a little tighter. Put real quick fade ins and fade outs at the beginning and end of each one of these so that we don't get any harsh pops or clicks when tracks start or stop. Ooh, that one sounded computery. I think all of them were fine except that last one. Yeah, I didn't like the way that last one sounded. We may just need to get rid of the gap altogether, but let's pull that out and see. That maybe wasn't so bad. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Again, a lot of times when I'm listening back to something like that, I'll close my eyes too. I don't want to have the visual reference of where the track starts and stops, or that will influence my subconscious into potentially hearing something that's not actually there. You're way more likely to hear a computer edit if you know there's one there. So a lot of times I at least try to eliminate that subconscious component by closing my eyes. So if I'm going to hear it, I'm really going to hear it, and it's going to have nothing to do with me looking at the screen and seeing that it's messed with. Okay, let's continue. There's something missing right there. There's supposed to be a da-da-da in there, right? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow, did both of us forget to play that? What a terrible time to realize. This riff goes 4 times, and the first 2 times are supposed to be straight like we just heard it, and then the second 2 times are supposed to have a little trill in there. Is that missing? So the second 2 times are supposed to go da 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 da, but I don't think that's there. I think all 4 times are the same. Come on. How? How did both James and I forget to do that? Well, I guess that's how it goes now. Dang it. Oh, man. I guess when you have this many details, you're bound to forget a couple. Of course, most of that's in harmony. Dang it, that makes me mad. Yeah. So the first da-da is in unison, but then after that they're in harmony. So we can basically highlight where the second set of notes starts and clear up to, oops, we don't have the grid on, hold on. Is it 622? Yes. Let's try the 2 degrees of separation, or 2 degrees, 2 decibels. That wasn't bad. I think I want to hear that again. try a little bit more James. Let's do another half decibel. Because it's really close. I think I just want a little bit more melody. Okay, yeah, I think we got the balance right, but did we lose volume? I feel like maybe we did. Let's try increasing both guitars by half. That time I kind of felt like they increased. Oh, man. Yeah, I think they do. Okay. And then I think most of this ending riff should be in unison until the very end. Yes, we got a real quick harmony passage here in measure 637, and it's partially palm muted too, so it's hard to even tell what's going on. So it may not be even worth changing the volumes, because again, it's kind of hard to tell what's being played. But let's take a listen to it with 3 decibels of separation. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. That whole riff, that whole thing there, I've had that in my back pocket forever. I think I wrote that as a finger exercise back in 2010 or something. That has been around for a long time. Finally getting around to using it in a song. James has got a couple of things like that on this album. At least one that I know of that he's had sitting in his back pocket since, I think, maybe 1998 or something like that. He's had one of these riffs for a long time. The clean section and imperfect conviction, I think, has been around for a long, long, long time. Okay, so now that we've got our bass layer sitting pretty well, the drums, bass, and guitars sitting pretty good. Want a little bit more of this backwards cymbal at the very beginning. We can start kind of adding on the fancy bits that go on top. So first off, we're going to add a round of clean guitars. It's only in one section. It's one of the bridges, I think. Yeah, bridge 2 right here. So let's just hear what these guitars are doing, because again, just like last time we talked about clean guitars, it's 8 of them, 4 sets of 2. Yeah. Also, the beginning of that was really messy, so let's tighten that up a little bit. Yeah, we can bring that in quite a bit and then have a fade in. You can actually hear me intake breath right there. You won't hear that in the actual mix, but it's kind of neat. Okay, so I want to kind of break down what's going on here. I think the ballad track and the acoustic, the real acoustic track, are both playing chords. Yeah. Okay, so that's all well and good. I'm going to temporarily mute the clean and the acoustic sem. But that ballad sound takes up a lot of space in the mix. It's very mid-heavy. So we may want to adjust that. Let's listen to it in the context of everything else. Does the ballad play a harmony to that da 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 da? No, I guess it is playing the same thing, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we balance those a little bit, and then we've got the clean guitars. Right. And then I think the acoustic simulator is doing a harmony to that. So again, we don't, that is a neat part, but we don't want that to be the focus. There is vocals going on right here. So we want to bring that up so that you can hear it if you listen for it, but it shouldn't be the focus of the part either. So let's try and bring those in. Well, it helps if you unmute all of them. Boy, I cannot get these things to cooperate. I think we're almost there. I keep changing my mind on how loud I want it, because it also makes this otherwise very big open section a lot more busy. And the last thing we need on this album is more busy. Okay, I think I'm good with that for now. We've got a piano and some other stuff to add into that section, plus the vocals, so might make changes later, but for now I'm good with it. Speaking of piano, let's move into piano. So we've got a left-hand track and then 3 right-hand tracks. There's not a huge amount going on that last right-hand track, but again, we did record all the pianos on this album using MIDI, so even though Sam did play everything together, I was able to separate what his left hand was doing with his right. So that we could make sure that all of the EQs sat nicely, especially when it comes to these left-hand piano notes. Pretty quickly they can get in the way of the bass guitar and the bass drum and things. So these probably won't be super loud. So we're going to move through the left-hand track, and as per usual, guys, don't forget that usually when it comes to the left-hand piano and also anything that he's done in the bass range strings-wise, I'm looking for something more that you would notice if it was muted. You would notice something had changed, but you're also maybe not specifically hearing what's being played. This is more of a support track. We want the bass drum and the bass guitar to remain in the front of the bass range, unless whatever the left hand is doing is particularly important and cool. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what's going on right here. I don't even know what this is. Okay, so yeah, this is the... Are we not? Let me reset my mixer here real quick. Technology is great when it works. That's better. Okay, let's bring this in. I do believe he has a right-hand track doing that same thing too. So we will still benefit from that part later on. Okay, here's chorus 1-3. So this is the chosen chorus, I believe. Nice, okay. Then we've got, oh yes, break 11, where he goes da 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 da. Wait a minute, that sounded high. Did I mix those two up? Yep, I did. Okay. So we just need to switch those two. Pull that down here and stick that up there. There we go. Nice, and then, yeah, we got just like the final hit, which I actually don't mind making a little bit louder. Yeah, so he just macked a good old low E. Okay, so that should do it for the left hand. So let's do the first right hand track. So this should be a very similar thing to what's going on the left hand here. Is the very first bit of vocals here. Yeah, I like that, having that up a little bit louder. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'd like to get that little flourish at the very end there a little louder. For the most part, I was good with that. Won't let me go to the number I want. It's skipping 5.5, and then it's also skipping 5.0. There we go. was a little bit much after all that trouble to get to 5.5. And now it won't go to 7.5. Okay, we'll do regular 7, see what that sounds like. That was still a little much. I think that'd be okay. Let's try 8. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and what's going on over here? Yeah, I imagine he's just following that, right? Yeah. So let's take that up just a little. Okay, good with all that. Let's take a look at right hand 2. There's only a few bits in here. So the first one is break 9, which I think mostly is just him following what we're doing in break 9. Yep, and then we have all the fancy little like note runs in chorus 3-2 on this track as well. Okay, anything else in this track? Yeah, I thought that was it. All right, and then we have one tiny little thing here on right hand 3, and that's there's a fancy note run in the middle of that break that he had stuff on right hand 2. Yeah, this bit, just filling in that little gap right there. So that track is at 13.5, so this one probably ought to be as well, I would think. Right, yeah, so between the two, we get the whole picture. Yeah. Okay, so that should do it for pianos, so let's move into the orchestra stuff. So again, we've separated left hand and right hand, even though Sam did actually play this stuff all at once. Other than, you know, that's why we have like a bass strings and then bass strings 2. So obviously bass strings 2 was a separate take, but we were able to separate what his hands were doing thanks to the MIDI. And very similar to the piano again, especially with the bass strings, we're not necessarily looking to hear it super well. We are looking to have it add something that you would notice something's missing if we muted it, basically. So it's a lot more about supporting the track than being something that you are specifically aware of when you hear it. So our first thing is the chosen chorus, this 1-3 right here. So it should just be some low notes down underneath that, I would imagine. Yeah. Good with all that, except for this one section that is visibly louder. I actually heard that get louder. It's just because he's got a note held. So the way the strings oscillate, just the way that sound oscillates, ends up usually the longer you hold a note, the louder it gets for some reason. So we basically just need to offset that getting louder. What is with Logic all of a sudden not letting me go to, it didn't seem to matter what number I want, that's the one number it won't do. So since it gradually gets louder, we want to offset that by making it get gradually quieter. Especially right there where it's a lot visibly a lot louder. Okay, I still heard it get loud. It was better, but I want to increase that. I want to increase the decrease. Ha! There we go. Okay, how about verse 8? I think this is a fancy thing, isn't it? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. One of those cool things that only Sam would come up with. That's going to be really difficult to bring up and out into the mix, into something you can hear. Let's just in anticipation of trying to get this a little bit louder, let's cut out some mids so that we should, well, some low mids, so that we should hopefully be able to turn that up a little bit louder than we normally would. We just want to make sure, that's peak 2, that that only gets taken out during this section. Yeah, we can even turn it on and off here. So for most of the song, we want that peak that we just did to be off, but just for this section, we'll turn it on. Hopefully that'll allow us to, it'll allow this part to not take up so much space. Sounds weird on its own, but we should be able to turn it up a lot more because of that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's really difficult to get up in the mix where I'd kind of like it to be, just because of the frequencies that it's taking up. I think I got it to a point where I can hear it, but again, you gotta listen for it. You know what I mean? Which makes sense. There's vocals here. This is not the point of this section, so we don't necessarily want it to be right up front. If this were just an instrumental band, oh yeah, absolutely. That should be the main thing we're hearing right there. Okay, and I want to make sure that that peak turns back off. Oh yes, I added in a high pass as well that we need to turn off, which for some reason Logic calls low shelf instead of high pass, but whatever. There we go. We need to make sure that also is only on during that section. Okay, let's see what's going on out over here. James, are you watching? I think I just saw James like the post, and it's showing an extra viewer now. I don't know if James is watching. I don't know if you noticed just there in that part that I just played, James, we forgot something. Both of us. Somehow, both of us forgot to do the little extra trill pick right there. It's just not there on either one of our tracks. How in the world did both of us miss that? I don't understand. I'm still mad about it. Still mad about it. Just noticed it today. Okay, so bass strings 2. Let's see what's going on right here. Thought I was hearing something in there. I wanted to make sure that it was what I thought it was. Okay, yep, it was. Okay, so now we got bridge 2. So this should just be the low notes of that bridge, right? Right, so again, we want to pay special close attention to that A note, that A2 that he holds at the end there. You can see it visually. Again, you can see that it gets louder the longer he holds it. So I want to keep an ear on that. I think we're getting there on that. Logic, me and you are gonna fight. There we go. It just will not go to whatever number I want it to go to. Okay, and then let's see what this is. Okay. little bit too much. Now that we've got everything in there, I kind of dislike how loud the piano is on that part. Da, 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 da. So let's take both pianos down a bit. Okay. And let's see what this is. Yeah, okay. So now we should be able to move into high strings. So we've got 2 tracks of high strings. There's one. So yeah, this should be kind of like following the riff, I would imagine, from the beginning of the song. Yeah, I love that. I swear that sounds like something out of A Link to the Past, which is super neat. Okay, let's hear it with everything else. Oh yeah. James just said I didn't realize how heavy that part actually sounds. Yeah, no, this part is heavy. The third part of the big song is the quote unquote heavy one, I think. Not that the whole thing is super heavy all the way through, but it's pretty neat. Oh, okay. Yeah, James just said that spread is a monster to do. Yeah, so he's talking about a little piece in that chorus we just heard where we're stretching both of us quite big. So he's got something on the third fret, something on the fifth fret, and something on the seventh fret. Da, 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 da. And it's really quick too. You don't have much time to get there. It is very difficult. Want to hear that chorus one more time? Okay. Okay. We're back to that part again. You got to listen to this, James. I'm telling you, it's going to make you just as mad. The viewers are probably tired of me saying it now. The riff goes 4 times, 2 without the trill and 2 with the trill, but we didn't do the trill any of the times. I'm pretty sure this is that part. Yeah. You know what? I hadn't thought this any of the other times we listened to this, but there's another little this fancy little guitar bit right here. So Dad over on YouTube just commented, how many young aspiring guitar players are going to someday buy the tab book for this album and then give up and throw their guitars away because it's not playable by normal humans? That's true. Probably all of them. I think the gaps, excuse me, in these notes could be cleaned up a little bit too. Especially the one gap that's specifically bothering me. Nope, I missed it. Right there, you even hear a squeak. Ugh. Swallowed spit wrong there a little bit. Yeah, honestly, if we can just get rid of that squeak right there, I'll be happy. I'm not sure which one of us did it. So just cut a little gap into the guitars there. See if that fixes it. Two things. First off, that sounded awful. That sounded so much like a computer edit. Second off, I still heard the squeak. After all that, I didn't even get rid of the thing I was trying to get rid of. Oh, that's... Oh, okay. Hold on. I think the squeak is on the bass. Hold on. That is the only answer for why it actually seems worse now that there is a gap in the guitars. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm not convinced, but that's the only thing that makes sense. It doesn't sound like a bass squeak. No, it's still there. It's not on the bass track. No, it's absolutely not on the bass track. Oh man, that's annoying. If cutting that right there doesn't get rid of it. Wow, I guess we got to leave it. Oh man, that's annoying. Because if I cut it up further, if I cut it closer over here to theoretically get rid of the squeak, then it sounds like a really bad computer edit. It's still there. Where is this squeak? That couldn't possibly be something on the drum track, could it? No. It's got to be coming from the guitars. It has to be. There's nothing else even playing. Wow, that's crazy. But then again, it sounds really awful that there's a gap there. It sounds like a computer edit. Okay. All right. I throw in the towel. You got me. Just going to move these temporarily down here. Because the only way we're going to be able to get that... Oh, that was dumb. There we go. The only way we're going to be able to put that back in is by doing that. Well, that was a good idea that just didn't work at all, huh? Yeah. Okay. Let's all forget we heard the squeak. Or maybe you're all lucky and none of you even heard the squeak to begin with. That squeak will haunt me for the rest of my life, I imagine. Okay, where were we? What were we actually doing? Well, the string part, right? Yeah, which we had just finished that. So we're ready to move on to high strings too. But who am I kidding? I'll never be able to move on. Forever I will stay with that squeak. Okay, let's see what's going on right here on high strings too. Dad says it's something that Saria or Victor did while recording. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Okay, let's see. This is bridge 2. Yeah, so again, the A at the end. Even though it doesn't really sound like it on its own track, it just feels like it gets progressively louder as we hear it. So let's just like we did on that other spot, combat that by gradually bringing its volume down as that note decays. Needs to be a little bit more dramatic than that. We may need to do the same thing on the bass track, or the bass strings track. Yeah, yep. I actually want to decrease a little bit there. Yeah, and I want to try. Let's experiment while I'm doing experiments that don't work. Let's just go ahead and continue to do sketchy things. I want to try taking the rhythm guitars throughout that whole section down a little bit extra and really kind of highlight the piano and the clean guitars and the strings there. Because this is, story-wise, I feel like that makes sense too. So our main character has entered, I'm trying to figure out how much to give away that's not going to destroy the story, has entered a church where the villain of the story is holding the church hostage. And this bridge right here, this section, is where our main character cries out to the villain and tries to reason with him to stop. So it kind of makes sense that it would be a little bit more lighthearted. It wouldn't be filled with quite so much, it's more of a last playing nice plea. Please don't do this. So let's try that. I've taken the rhythm guitars down by 2 decibels just for that section. Let's see if it's jarring or if it sounds good. Cody's here. How's it going? How's it going, Cody? Good to see you. Hope you and the family had a good Thanksgiving. Okay, I think we're on to something. It didn't quite work, but it's close. Let's not decrease it quite so much. Let's try 1 decibel instead of 2. And also, I want to try, well, let's get the general volume first. There's another thing that I want to do to it, but for the sake of easier undo button, let's try 1 decibel instead of 2. Okay, that wasn't dramatic enough. Let's try 1.5 decibels. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so 2 things. I want to take this da-da-da-da-da-da up back to where it was, which I think was 0. And I also want to gradually bring the guitars back up to their proper volume, starting with that A2 chord. That means we're going to have to blow up all these tracks to get rid of that bottom node. So it also felt a little bit too dramatic when the chorus chords came back in really strong. I don't want anybody to specifically notice that the rhythm guitar's volume dropped, because everything else takes its place, right? So we continue that straight feel. So then when the chords or the rhythm guitar suddenly jump back in on the chorus there, it feels jarring. So we're going to have a gradual volume increase right when we hit that A2 over the course of those 2 measures, so that hopefully we'll bring everything back in nice and smooth. I like. Cool little touches like that if I've done my job, your average listener will not notice, but if it wasn't there, they would definitely notice something was weird. You know what I mean? It's one of those cool little things. I'm going to hopefully remember little bits like that and feel good that we served the story, you know? Okay, let's check out what's going on here. We got a really we've now got 4 tracks of strings and 2 tracks of pianos plus everything else going on during that da 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 da. So let's do a little bit of damage control here and reduce all the strings by a couple of decibels. Just to, you know, we still want to hear them there and everything. It just doesn't need to be quite so much of an impact. Yeah, okay. Did I turn the guitars up there? No, it doesn't look like I did. We're still, it just feels like everything gets really muddy right there. Just for the da 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 da. Yeah. The rhythm guitars is what's striking me at the moment as being a little bit too loud. So let's try turning them down just half a decibel. Okay, just made a couple more other adjustments in there that are good now, I think. Is there another node hiding in there somewhere? Yes, I knew there was. Okay. I really love that chorus. That's one of my favorite riffs that I've ever written. For sure, that little bit there is neat. Very proggy, very complicated, not something that I would want to write all the time, but it's really cool. I really like it. Okay, so that's the main orchestra bits. So now we've actually got a bunch of choir. So we've got 3 tracks of keyboard choir and then 8 tracks of me going, oh, like an idiot, that we can layer in with the keyboard choir to make it feel a little bit more real. So these 2 tracks, the first 2, are following that cool little string bit that we heard in this break 10, which also, interestingly, is a bass part that Dad wrote. So this little bit here, the is another thing that happens several times throughout this big half an hour long song at the end here, and we're hearing it, I think, for the final time right here. And the very first time it appears, Dad's playing that, this choir part here, he's playing that as a bass part. So it comes back as a choir part later on, which is another just super cool thing that I love. So it should be the same as this, the string parts. Yeah. So we need to not only layer those in, but we may need to turn the strings down a little bit so that there's a better balance between the strings and the choir. Now let me make sure too that I know exactly what's going on here. So the first track is higher, so this should be lower. Yes. Not bad. I want to turn the strings down just a little bit, give the choir a little bit more room to pop out. I think I want to increase the amount of reverb on the choir tracks as well. Okay, and then on choir 3, we've got a couple of things. There's an odd little harmony over the last third of that, but then also we've got a choir part that's happening during that chosen chorus that precedes this. So let's listen to that. Yeah. Getting there. So let's set in. I'm essentially doubling, with 4 of these, I'm doubling the main part, the lower one, and then the other 4 is another harmony. Not super important bit, but I think again with these, I want to really dramatically increase the amount of reverb that we're hearing on them. And let's do the first 4 first. Yeah, that was neat. Okay, and then we'll get the higher harmony. Again, this doesn't need to be super loud. Okay. That time, it kind of felt like the keyboard harmonies were, or the keyboard choirs were a little loud. Yep, almost there. We're getting there. Changing my mind on the keyboard choir loudness now that we've got the quote-unquote me choir in there also. Really strange. Okay, I had lost my own voice in there. I couldn't pick it out. I couldn't even hear anything other than just noise. Very nice. Yeah. I love that part. That's so epic. Pops into this song just often enough for you to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Okay, so now we're moving into the world of synths. So Sam has 3 different synths in this song. They're all the same sound. They're just on different tracks. Not even sure why some of them are on different tracks, but let's see what we got. So this first bit here is probably the beginning riff of the song, the Master of Puppetsy kind of thing. Yeah, making that sound very 80s. Kind of kind of reminded me of Stranger Things a little bit just there. Okay, let's start with that low and bring it in slow. Okay, yeah, yeah, not bad. I'm tempted to bring that up a little bit more, but I think it's okay where it's at. We don't really want to undercut the heaviness by letting that be super loud. And then the very, very end of that, where he goes up an octave, again, it's a little too much. It's not a huge amount. Okay, and then I have a feeling I know what this is. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. I just remembered. I completely forgot about this little bit right here. I think he's playing something that we definitely want to increase right here. Okay, why excuse me, why is that over 2 tracks? That's all I heard. What's on this one? I see. Let's bring them in one at a time. I wouldn't even be afraid to put that out front. Maybe not that out front. Yeah, and then the higher one should be a little bit easier to pop out. Yeah. Okay, and then we've got the part at the very end of the song, probably all the fancy right? Yep. Very nice. And then we've got synth 3, which doesn't look like it has much on it. Yeah, just this big chunk here at the end here. So let's see what's going on here. Forever the squeak. Okay, one last thing that we can do on today is the guitar solo. This is a very short guitar solo. Actually, I just did this today. Just did this one today. Very Dave Mustaine. This one, again, this is the middle of one of the most tense and kind of climactic points of the album story-wise. So precision was not specifically my aim on this. Which is either for the story or my excuse for my slowly fading skill. Not sure which. It's one or the other, or maybe both. But let's just see kind of where it's sitting at the moment in relation to everything else. So we're definitely having trouble getting it out frequency-wise. It feels like it's just taking up too much room. It felt a little dampened, first off. So let's give it a little bit more high end. Second off, let's give it a little less low end. So right here around 300, let's actually decrease. Let's go dramatic. It's probably too much. See if that helps us get this poking out of the mix a little better. Getting there, at least to the point that we can go in and automate some stuff up and down. I think we're getting better there. This also, incidentally, for any tech geeks, is the only appearance of this guitar on this album. So that solo was done on this Jackson Kelly, which I got several years ago and have then used for basically nothing. I've been using it for lessons the past few weeks, and now it played this solo on this album. It's also probably why we're getting some weird frequencies out of it. It's not the normal guitar that I do guitar solos for, or the set of guitars that I typically use for solos. Okay, let's see if we can go in there and automate some of the quieter stuff up. Nice. So like pretty much all of this could come up. By the way, in case any of you are wondering, usually I write a solo and then I play it a bunch of times and then I Frankenstein together the best takes. That's why there's cuts in this. Or is he just making excuses? Shh. Oh, geez, I turned that up way too early, didn't I? Yeah, that note's still ringing right there. quick like. There is a particular frequency that keeps popping out during that tapping bit. I think I saw it. Yeah, I think I got it. It's still in there, but it's not quite as abrasive and annoying as it was. Okay. Very nice. We still got some time. We still got a decent amount of time going on here before we have to end. So we've definitely got time to go back and do a clean listen through from the quote-unquote start, not the absolute start, but the start of this section of the song anyway. How long is this section, I wonder? So we're at 12:45, 12 minutes and 45 seconds, and then this ends around 19 and a half. So there you go. You're like a little less than 7 minutes for section 3. And by the end of this section, we are at, 19 or so minutes into the song. Section 4 is really short. Section 4 is maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes maybe. It's not super long. Same with 6. Section 6 also isn't like super long. Section 5 is a little bit more like this one, more regular for us song length. Okay, so let's take a listen to our handiwork and then probably get up on out of here. Okay. Very nice. I like it. I like it. Yeah, made a couple of changes there, but for the most part, it was pretty good. I listened to it in the actual speakers that time, which is always a little bit different than the headphones. But for the most part, liking it. Yeah. Dad also said the guitar solo tone reminds me of the Queen lead guitar tone for some reason. That is interesting for sure. I was going for a little bit of a different tone. In fact, when I recorded it, I actually did pickup selector switch in the middle, so we were getting both pickups. So it definitely is a different tone than I normally do for guitar solos. And clearly, since I had to EQ it a bunch to get it to jump out of the mix, not specifically my best idea ever. But that is cool. We still achieved a different guitar tone for that section. Okay. Well, I think that we are safe to go ahead and get out of here. Not sure what's going on next Friday yet. I'm still thinking there's a possibility I might stream some this coming Wednesday. Not sure yet what time. Maybe around 5 or so. I've got a few open hours around 5. But here soon. Still not 100% sure of the timeline, but here soon. Friday nights will be going back to Kiss Meets the podcast. So the old podcast that Eli and I used to do. We've been doing it for years now. We took a bit of a break so that I could do the streams that we've been doing on this channel, the Kiss-ish stuff, and then now working on Paramnesia. But at some point, sometime soon, Friday nights are going to go back over to the two of us doing Kiss Meets the podcast. And these kinds of streams will be moving probably to Wednesday nights. So we'll be working on a lot of different stuff, a bit of Paramnesia, a bit of the other album that I've been in the middle of recording, and then there's actually some more projects once this is done, and once that essentially the solo album is done, there is just a long waiting list of projects that need finished, and again, probably whatever I'm working on, we'll stream a bit of it. So I would imagine count on Wednesday this coming week. Maybe around 5 or a little bit later. If any of you are available, make sure to check in around that time. And maybe we'll be doing Friday too. Not 100% sure yet. Maybe keep an eye out. It'll either be this or Kiss Meets the podcast, very likely. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So you guys, thank you so much for clicking on this. As always, whether you're watching it right now or whether you're watching it in the future when it's not live, today is the day after Thanksgiving. It's November 25th. So I hope all of the viewers that celebrate Thanksgiving had a great holiday. I know I sure got lots and lots and lots of food. We took the kids over to the parents' house, and Sam and Lynn and Saria, which is my brother, and his girlfriend and their daughter. Saria is, of course, the Afterwinter band manager, was there. My sister came up from Athens. We don't see her super often. So it was a fun time. Hope you guys all had an equally fun time. And we will catch you guys a little bit later, maybe Wednesday. We'll see what happens. We'll see you guys then.